Welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Today, I wanted to talk about 24-hour living. Um, I also wanted to connect this idea of 24-hour living to how we receive gifts that don't look like gifts. Ever since I have been sober, I have experienced so many times when something happens that I don't want to happen and it seems terrible at the time, that it turns out to be a gift. Um, so let's see where this goes. Whenever I am thinking about what's going to happen in the future, I am unable to think about what I'm doing today. And this became clear to me over the past year and a half because I was so obsessed with the fact that everything that I had planned for my life just went out the window when I became medically retired. I had it all planned out, how my path at work was all planned out. I was a director, and so the next thing was going to be senior director, and then the next thing was going to be VP. And no, I didn't want anything after that. Um, but I had it all planned out, and I was planning on retiring from my company that I was working for, not medically retiring. I was planning on working there um, until I was in retirement. And yes, that kind of happened, but not the way that I had planned. I planned on reaching the top of my goals before it was time to say, okay, I'm done now. And I believe that the only reason why I was so devastated by the fact that I had to medically retire was that it wasn't my choice. If somebody had come up to me the same day without this chronic pain and this disability, if somebody were to come up to me and say, look, you're going to get this amount for this percentage of your pay, and you can just retire today. I would have said, okay. I would have said, yeah, that's a good deal. I'm totally in. Maybe. Um, but the fact that I didn't get that choice, that it is what happened to me, felt like it was a disaster. It felt like, just like I said yesterday, how I felt like when I got sober, I was losing myself. And when I medically retired, I was losing myself. When in actuality, I continue to find myself, to find more of me, to be able to I've been gifted time with myself, gifted time to live, to actually be present in my own life. And it has come in the form of these gifts that I didn't ask for. Um, every year we ask our kids to provide a Christmas list, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it. And I get it. I get why they hate it, but it's just so much easier to do Christmas shopping if I have some sort of idea as to what it is that they want. And I don't get everything on their list, but I get to at least have direction, right? To have an idea of what direction to go in. And that's what I like in life. Don't we all, like, we want to know what our path looks like. And when we get to this point, whether it's something uh, devastating, like what I felt like mine was, which honestly, when I look at it in perspective of like comparing my situation to others who experience a stroke and may have had different disabilities because of it, I can see that it could have been worse. You know, it could have been a lot worse. But still, it's I shouldn't compare myself to others. I need to look at my own situation. And when I do, like the part that made it so devastating was that I couldn't see beyond today with the situation that I was put in because of my stroke. When I got sober, I couldn't see beyond the sobriety to see like how my life could possibly get better this way. Like I thought I'm never going to have fun again. This is a disaster. But the other day when I posted my episode on Facebook or in the description, I said, you know, my life keeps getting better. And it's amazing that that is the case when I keep experiencing things that are so I never would have asked for this, you know. But my life seems getting to get better. And today I was thinking, why is that? Because other people can stop drinking and then 4 years later have a stroke and their life does not continue to get better. And it's really my sobriety program is takes all the credit. That's the only reason why my life keeps getting better because it allows me to take whatever I've been given in life and find the positive. And I never could do that before I stopped drinking. Um, this program that I practice has helped me spiritually, obviously. That's what I share about a lot. It has helped me emotionally more than I'll ever be able to communicate to you. I am on medication for anxiety and depression, but even with that medication, I had to have a lot more help. I just did not know how to live with my, I don't know, emotional deficits. Like I just feel so much. You know, that's a funny way of saying it, but I just Um, I have to choose to look at things a certain way, or because my default is to get very emotionally wrapped up in something. I have to choose to let go. And that happens all day, every day. I have to choose to let go. Because if I don't choose that on a daily basis, that emotional deficit, that's a good way of saying it for me, but it just continues to get worse and worse and worse, just like any other disability. Um, if I don't exercise, my head's going to get worse. If I don't practice moving my eyes around. If I don't get outside and take a walk, I'm gonna get worse. And lately, I just have this enormous back pain. And I have been thinking lately, like, I have got to do the work because if I don't address this, eventually I'm not going to be able to move. I mean, there are times that I walk outside to walk Autumn. And like last night, for example, I walked outside to walk Autumn and I couldn't walk. Like I couldn't take a step with my right leg because I had this excruciating pain in my back. Um, I don't have to live like that, you know? And what I need to do is exercise it. I need to do leg lifts, I need to I have this machine that does like electric pulses, I guess, to the stimulate muscles. I need to do that every day. I think I need to do it a couple times a day. And I'm not doing it. And so the pain just sits there like that. Like, why am I allowing myself to be in pain? Emotionally, it's the same exact thing. If I don't practice my steps of my program, if I don't practice exercising, letting things go, because that's emotional weightlifting for me, is to feel something that is negative and make the decision to let it go. That is emotional weightlifting. And I have to practice it all day, every day. I can't even tell you how many times I have to work on letting things go, work on telling myself, people are not out to get me. People want me to be successful. People care about me. Like I have to tell myself that every day, all day. Can you tell I'm passionate about that? In order to not sink with or without medication. Like if I didn't have medication, I would probably have to be admitted into a facility because I just go off the deep end if I don't have um, that stability with my medication. By going off the deep end, I mean like there will be chaos inside my head. I may look normal, but it will almost be like I'm screaming inside my own head. Um, that's what it's like for me. So my program helps me that way. My program helps me financially. I had zero financial smarts until I got sober. Zero. Because not only did I not learn how to manage money because they don't teach you that in school, but unless you take finance, which I should have, but I started to not care. When I was drinking, I just put the drink before everything. So I started not caring about any of my bills. Somebody mentioned today that getting the mail was terrifying. And I just laughed and I nodded. I was like, yes, getting the mail in when I was drinking was terrifying because I was not planning. I was not financially planning. Um, and I was doing whatever it took for me to have what I wanted. And it's pretty sad. Like if my parents were fully aware at that time of what I was doing financially, they would have just screamed at me. But I didn't know, and I certainly wasn't going to tell anybody. So, what this program does for me financially is it helps me make the right choices today so that my financial future is stable as I can get it. And so, once again, it's 24-hour living financially, emotionally, spiritually. Working my program is very similar to putting a dollar in in a piggy bank every day. Like that's what working my program is every day. I'm putting um, valuable stuff in my piggy bank to save up for the future when I need it, emotionally, spiritually, and it turns out financially too. Um, I was thinking this morning about those phrases, and I just said one. Um, I'm I'm gonna. I want to, I need to, I will try. These phrases are excuses. And I just said one about my back pain. I said, I need to, I have to. These are not the mindset that I need to have. And I love this podcast because I get to talk about this stuff aloud. And if I help somebody, I do, but I definitely help me. And instead of saying, I need to strengthen my back the way that I strengthen my sobriety, um, I need to do lift weights and do these exercises the way that I do exercises for my eyes in stroke recovery. I need to stop saying I need to. I just should be saying I will, right? I will. Today, I will go to a meeting. Today, I will do my eyeball exercises. Today, I will do exercises for my back. And it, I can feel the change internally when I say I will instead of I need to. I will almost makes me feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing today. If I say I need to, then that is forward looking, meaning, okay, somewhere this week, I'm going to be doing exercises. Well, I will guarantee you that I won't do it if I say I need to do it. If I say I will do it today, then I will. I will. The the challenge is that is saying I will do it today every morning. And I do that with my sobriety meeting. I will go to a meeting this morning. There's not a guarantee I will go to two meetings because I usually do. But if the topic is not really inspiring to me and I've already gone to my first meeting, then I will bounce out of that meeting and start my podcast instead. But that rarely happens. That usually happens if I'm caught up between my ears and I need to talk about what happened in the first meeting. If something really resonates with me and I don't want to lose that focus by going to another meeting, which will be most likely talking about a different topic, I'll end up recording my podcast instead. So when I use these phrases, I'm gonna, I will try, I need to, I want to, I have to, I'm finding excuses to not participate in 24-hour living. Those are excuses to not do the thing right now. Um, there's a phrase that I have on my website that says, do today what you will be proud of tomorrow. It's something to that effect. And it doesn't say do something this week that you'll be proud of in the future. That is very abstract for me. I have to really nail down a time period in order to feel accomplished, to feel like it's a goal. A goal is something that I will do. I spent a long time regretting the next day what I did the day before. And somebody mentioned this morning this phrase, and I think it's hilarious. They said that they are a procrastachiever. And they said that this was a term that was learned from some younger folks, procrastachiever. And I I feel like that really resonates with me because I always feel like I'll get things done, but I'm going to wait till the last minute to do it. a procrastachiever. I'm really, really good at procrastinating, but yet still getting it done. And I think, I don't think my son is listening, but if you are, hi, son, he's a really good procrastachiever. And the problem with being a procrastachiever is that we, I think, are doing just enough to be successful. We're not overachieving when you're a procrastachiever. You are, I mean, sometimes I'll be a procrastachiever and I will be an overachiever at the same time. But wouldn't it be something if I attempted to achieve something a week before it was due and then recognized how much better it could be and had another week to make it even better, you know? Um, when I was working in my career, I was constantly living in the future. I was future tripping constantly. I mean, I had to in order to plan ahead, you know. It's important to be able to be forward looking when you're in your career. But I didn't just do it with my schedule. I did it in my personal goals. I was just constantly thinking about what I wanted to be next. You know, why don't I work today on being better than I am today by tomorrow, right? Um, when I stopped drinking and I medically retired, I mentioned this yesterday. I felt like I was losing myself when in actuality, what was happening was I was finding myself. I was no longer distracted from myself with drinking and with work. I finally was able to be present and get to know me and get to know the world around me. I've talked about the freaking leaves have been amazing to me to be able to watch them change color in the fall and see that they change color from the outside of the leaf in to the spine of the leaf. And that is just something that maybe I've seen it before, but I've never actually studied a leaf before that was changing color. And it is so fascinating to me. I also talked about recently about when you're going outside into the cold and the sun is like warming your skin even though the air is cold. And I mentioned in the podcast episode description that that feeling of standing in the cold with the sun shining on you is like you're standing right smack in the middle of two seasons. And how cool is that to be in the changing of the seasons? That's why I love Virginia. Um, but these events that have happened in my life, um, they looked like terrible things. They looked like they were ruining my life and I was losing myself. And they were actually gifts. You know, I've been talking about how stroke recovery is not quite, I'm not quite there with being 100% grateful for my stroke. I'm not there yet because I'm so caught up in what I can't do still and how when I do certain things, it hurts my head. Like right now, while I'm talking and recording this episode, my head hurts as usual, and my vision is pretty blurry at this point, um, telling me that I need to stop doing the episode. But that is the things that happen throughout my day that keep me from being grateful because it's uncomfortable. And I shared this morning in my meeting, I feel like there's going to be a point in time, and I don't know when it's going to be, whether it's when I'm 60, whether it's when I'm 80, that I'm going to be grateful for all of this. Um, Even the stroke, even the chronic pain. I'm sure that that's going to happen. I'm sure it is because anything less is unacceptable to me. And what can I do today to make that happen? Um, what are the steps that I can do today to be full of gratitude, to be financially secure, to be emotionally stable, to be spiritually fit? That's what I need to address first. Um, and when I address those things, progress happens without me even realizing it. It's kind of like putting the dollar in the piggy bank every day. You don't really feel the struggle, right, to put a dollar in there. But by the end of the year, you've got $365. Like, go buy yourself something. How much does that buy in today's day? I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't be able to buy a laptop. But yeah, it's contributing every day to the my future self. And it's so much easier to do it this way. And it's so much easier to be comfortable in today than to try to imagine myself comfortable tomorrow. So, thank you for listening today. Now I'm going to go rest my head. I'll talk to you tomorrow.